Modern day Star Trek is truly some of the worst content I have ever had to consume, and it's right up there with things like the Rings of Power, and it seems to get worse and worse with every Starfleet Academy episode that they release, because now we're finding out that 59 years later, Starfleet Academy has just reimagined Klingons as polyamorous refugees. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it is so sad to see this happening, that activists that cannot seem to leave their politics at the door when they go to work are taking and bastardizing such amazing and legendary IPs, and Star Trek has been going downhill for many years now, unfortunately. Discovery, Section 31, Lower Decks. I mean, even Picard had issues, and Starfleet Academy is truly the worst of the worst. I can't imagine how it could get any worse unless they retcon and say, oh yeah, James T. Kirk or Spock doesn't exist in our story anymore. But now Starfleet Academy is reimagining Klingons as modern day SLOP, as polyamorous refugees, something nobody fucking asked for. And I don't think it's going to surprise any of you listening that the Access media is praising this decision. So it says Klingons are one of the most iconic species in Star Trek, attracting a hugely dedicated fan base who admire their complex culture and even learn their language. The portrayal of Klingons has changed dramatically over the past 60 years, moving from a Cold War era stand-in for the Russians to noble warriors who could be the fiercest allies in any conflict, and Starfleet Academy is reimagining them yet again. Whenever you hear something is being remade, rebooted, in this case, reimagined, you know it is going to be terrible, because the people working on this series now have no fucking clue what made, in this case, the Klingons special in the first place, do not care to learn the lore behind them. And so they go, yeah, this is like a blank slate for us, guys. We could just do whatever the hell we want, and people are going to reject it. All you are doing is pushing customers away. All you are doing is losing viewers, and this already was struggling for viewers, may I add. I mean, they previously had put the first episode up for free on YouTube, and well, womp womp womp, it did so bad that they actually removed it in order to not be embarrassed anymore. Just for reference, Paramount had quietly pulled Star Trek Starfleet Academy YouTube premiere after the disastrous reception. The YouTube premiere was a public record of failure. It had 8,000 likes to 27,000 dislikes at only 218,000 views in 9 freaking days. It is so funny that this is happening, that they are so desperate for viewership that they put this episode up, and then when it's received poorly, they take it down. Something very similar had happened with the Halo show. They had actually put up the first episode. They had put up several of the episodes over time, but they had put the episode up on YouTube so that they could try to get viewers, but that was also up for a significantly longer amount of time. It wasn't up for just 9 days and then they pulled the plug. That was not the case, but they completely privated it, and well, it's not the quiet removal that they were hoping, is now we can just point and laugh at them. Going back to the article from Polygon, though, talking about this decision, it says in the original Star Trek and the prequel Star Trek Discovery, terrible, in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, the Klingon Empire is portrayed as a fierce adversary of the United Federation of Planets. The Empire settled into the role of a powerful geopolitical rival in Star Trek The Next Generation, which continued the series' emphasis on inclusion by adding the Klingon security officer Worf, who, of course, everybody knows and everybody loves, to the command crew of the Enterprise. The burn, the catastrophic event that shattered the Federation in the 31st century, also devastated devastated the Klingons, and their homeworld was destroyed, and the species is on the brink of extinction, mostly living in refugee camps. So now you have, as it says, polyamorous refugees. These people cannot help themselves, and they constantly have to shove in real world references and refer to issues that they feel passionately about. This is supposed to be entertainment, not a lecture. And Star Trek has always dealt with very intense, overarching themes, and yes, occasionally references, but they were done in a timeless way. I could go back and watch episodes of the original series, of Next Gen, even of Deep Space Nine, that would hit hard, and I would understand the references, but they would be done timelessly. Okay, you're walking away with a sense of a deeper meaning and a deeper message. And here, these people are so untalented and so bad at their job that they can't do that at all whatsoever. I've said this before, but Star Trek, Star Wars, Tolkien's world, if you look at video games, you have things like the Arkhamverse and Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. You have things like Tomb Raider. They have all turned into political playgrounds for activists. These people are hired. They do what cultural Marxists do the best, and they go crazy on these series. They destroy them and rework them from top to bottom until you do not recognize them anymore. And then once their job is done, they leave the playground. They go home for the day because they never had an emotional attachment to it. Anyway, and it is so sad to see this constantly happening. No one fucking wants polyamorous refugee Klingons except for, I don't know, the 5 activists that still work in video game and entertainment journalists sites, and maybe they're 5 fans. That's about it. There's a reason why these IPs are dying. They need to go back to hiring people who actually care about this content, because the real fans are rejecting it straight up. Here is a fantastic post I found. Star Trek used to be about extraordinary people doing amazing things. Now it's about mediocre, neurodivergent, self-centered, identity-plagued narcissists who can't be bothered to do anything at all for fear they'll be uncomfortable. Fuck this show and the bitches who write it, and I 100% agree. Nobody cares about fucking Captain Calm Cruncher. Nobody cares about her going, red light, red light, red light. Nobody cares about really any of these cast members, about the story that they're trying to tell, and nobody wants to consume Star Trek content anymore because it has gotten so bad. They need to do better, or else they are going to completely kill it off. And I always say this, right? I think that there is generally a way that a company can come back from their mistakes. People loved Star Trek, but I think that we are getting to the point where it's over. I think that with the release of Starfleet Academy, we are passing the point of no return, which is sad because, again, I grew up watching Star Trek. I like Star Trek so much. I want it to be good. I want to be able to sit down and be excited for Star Trek, but there's no possible way that I could enjoy watching these shows at all whatsoever. Here's some other posts about it. Starfleet Academy may be the only sci-fi show ever made in which the characters are less weird looking than the actors who played them. Yeah, that's a jump scare, that's for sure. I know Nerdrotic had posted about it in Starfleet Academy. Jaden is from a polyamorous Klingon family where both of his fathers abandoned. It's so ridiculous. This is so insane that this isn't some sort of like parody video on YouTube. Is this a joke? God, I wish that it was. This is insane. Now we know why he's gay and has panic attacks. What the frick? From a young age, I was prepared for the world to be evil and cruel, but I was never prepared for it to also be this gay and retarded. Such a banger of a post. It is not possible to hate Starfleet Academy enough. I wish bad things for everybody involved in its creation and distribution. Starfleet Academy is the AIDS of cancer. They spent between 6 and 10 million an episode, and then the premiere got 1,300 live viewers. Rip Star Trek. Ouch, Star Trek Starfleet Academy is so bad and so moronically woke that after just 3 episodes, it isn't even in the top 10 shows streaming on Paramount Plus. In fact, Sabrina the Teenage Witch reruns are pulling more viewers than Starfleet Academy. What an absolute bomb. Yeah, this is really, really bad for Paramount. So I will, of course, be keeping my eye on Star Trek and Paramount and Starfleet Academy, but they quietly pulled the Starfleet Academy YouTube premiere after its disastrous reception, and now somehow, someway, it's gotten even worse because they are reimagining Klingons as polyamorous refugees and they are getting destroyed for it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.